Hello. The reason why I have bedhead and I look like I just woke up is because I did. It's early in the morning, I've got to rush somewhere, so I thought I'll just finish this off and just get it over with. Okay? Alright, so let's get started. I've got a question for you. If I offered you a choice between 1,000 rupees right now or 1,200 rupees in a week from now, which one would you pick? Statistically, you are more likely to pick the former, because why wouldn't you just get $1,000 and get it over with? Let me give you another set of choices. Now, if I promised you 1,000 rupees a year from now, and say 1,200 rupees a year and a week from now, suddenly something's a little different. You would opt for the 1,200 rupees instead of the 1,000. This is the power of a mental model known as hyperbolic discounting. And hyperbolic discounting is the exact reason why you procrastinate, eat shit junk food, cannot hit the gym, binge Netflix, and will almost certainly never have the things you wish you did in life. And learning the consequences of this mental model scared the living crap out of me just enough to get my life back in order. So here's what hyperbolic discounting is, and here are the steps that I took to beat it. And make sure you stick around to the end to find out how I beat hyperbolic discounting to stop becoming an instant gratification zombie. Let's get started. So a few months back, I was working on improving my physical well-being, and I realized I needed to track a few metrics such as heart rate, my sleep quality, my steps in a day, the calories burned, things of that sort. And I immediately dismissed fitness trackers because frankly they're so expensive, and I did not have the budget for, say, like a Fitbit or a Garmin or a Polar watch, whatever it is, right? I just did not have the money for that. And honestly, they're really fragile as well, because I had dropped my previous okay, maybe not so fragile. So I dropped my Fitbit HR2 under a truck while I was cycling. The strap came off and it fell. Alright, do not ask me how, it just happened. So a couple of days after I realized that I need to track these metrics, a few ads showed up for budget fitness trackers. I was like, hey, that's not bad. I mean, it's pretty affordable, and I'm getting most of the benefits I would with, let's say, like the top high-end quality fitness trackers. So I was like, okay, let's consider this. So I watched a couple of videos on fitness trackers, as in which is the best one in the market currently for like a budget price, things of that sort. Read a few articles, you get it, right? And I have this rule when it comes to purchases, because I consider myself as a compulsive spender. If I need something, I just blow money on it. So I have a rule in place when it comes to purchases these days, which is the 15-day rule. If I feel the need to buy something, I put it aside for 15 days, and then after 15 days, when I come back to it, I still see if I need it or not. So once the novelty of buying a new item has passed, 15 days, then I really get to evaluate if this purchase is important to me, and that's how I then purchase it. And I did the same for the fitness tracker. I picked one and I put it in my wish list, and I forgot about it for 15 days. At the end of the 15 days, I realized that okay, yeah, I still need this. I wish I had something in the last 15 days to help me track my metrics. So on the 15th day, I decided to buy the fitness tracker. So I moved it from my wish list to my cart. I remember having this discount coupon that I was getting about 20% off or something, like a significant chunk of the price, right? And it was a huge, a big deal for me, because hey, we're Indians, we save wherever we can. And as I was gonna avail the discount and buy the product, I was like, hold up. I could head to the mall and buy the same exact product instantly. I do not have to wait for a 4 or 5 day delivery time period, right? Sure, I get to like not avail the discount, but who cares? I'm getting the product right now. It's instantaneous. I immediately get to like wear it and start using it. Like sure, I'll just do that. In less than 30 minutes, I was at the mall and I'd already purchased the item, completely disregarding my discount. Most of you all would think that okay, this is like pretty odd behavior, but it stems from a very well understood and very well researched topic known as hyperbolic discounting. So, what is hyperbolic discounting? Hyperbolic discounting is a cognitive bias from the field of behavioral economics. It's basically the love child of psychology and economics. Even though it is not very well known in day-to-day life, it explains a lot of the big problems that we're seeing in the world today, such as global warming, COVID response, and the high obesity rates. So here's what hyperbolic discounting is. In simple terms, we have a tendency to opt for smaller, immediate rewards than larger, later rewards. You basically prefer instant gratification over delayed gratification. So, to our animal brains, the closer the reward is to you on a temporal scale, the higher your emotional interest rate is. So, you may be asking why our brains discount the future. Why is it that we fall prey to hyperbolic discounting? And obviously the easy answer is it's a cognitive bias. It overrides logic and reasoning, and there's nothing that you can do about it. But obviously an easy answer is not what you're looking for, so here's the hypothesis. In the book The Art of Thinking Clearly, Rolf Dobley writes, hyperbolic discounting, the fact that immediacy magnetizes us, is a remnant of our animal past. Animals will never turn down an instant reward in order to attain more in the future. You can train rats as much as you like, they're never going to give up a piece of cheese today to get 2 pieces tomorrow. I mean, consider the group of early humans, for example, when they were hunter-gatherers. Let's call them Robert's tribe, alright? So Robert leads their pack through the savannah, looking for food and shelter and resources, and they come across a beehive. Are there beehives in savannah? I'll have to Google that. Give me 1 second. Okay, yes there are. Right, where was I? Robert's tribe. Yes, they come across a beehive. Now, which of the 2 options would be a better alternative? Option number 1, where the tribe immediately pounces on the beehive and devours the whole thing, so that they can fuel themselves to like go further distances, travel more, maybe get some rest? Or would it be in their favor to just let the beehive be, go wander around for a while and then come back and find out that the beehive's missing? It has been stolen by Robert's rival tribe. It's been stolen by Steve's tribe, alright? Obviously, it would be in the favor of Robert's tribe to be wolfing down this beehive. So the tribes that favored wolfing down food or hoarding resources whenever they came across it had better chances of survival and procreation. Your ancestors worked this way as well due to a lack of resources and food and things of that sort, which is why you carry this wiring to this day. And the only difference right now is that we live in an environment of abundance. However, the consequences of giving into instant gratification is not just, say, the high rates of obesity, the drug abuse, or procrastination. It is much graver than we first thought it was. To understand the consequences, we must first learn about a pretty famous experiment known as the Marshmallow test. In the 1960s, a Stanford professor by the name of Walter Mischel began conducting some really important psychological studies. During these experiments, Mischel and his team conducted hundreds of experiments and tests on children, most of them around the age group of 4 to 5. So here's how the experiment went. The children were brought into a room, made to sit in a chair, and had a marshmallow in front of them. At this point, the researcher offered the child a deal. Here's what the deal was. The researcher told the child not to eat the marshmallow in front of them when they left the room, and if they managed to successfully hold off not eating the marshmallow, they would get a second one. But if they did eat the first marshmallow, then you would not get another one. As simple as that. The choice is pretty simple. One treat now or two treats later. And then the researchers left the room for 15 minutes. Some kids immediately jumped on the marshmallow and the marshmallow went down the hatch. Some kids tried to distract themselves. They were fiddling, they were running around, bouncing, jumping around, whatever they could to possibly distract themselves from the marshmallow, but they eventually gave in. But a few children did manage to wait the entire time. What's interesting about this experiment was what followed. As the years went by, the children were followed. Not followed. The researchers conducted follow-up studies and kept track of these kids and what they were doing in life. And the children that delayed instant gratification and opted for 2 marshmallows were doing extremely well compared to the ones that did not. Here's how long the list is. The children ended up having higher SAT scores, lower levels of substance abuse, lower likelihood of obesity, better responses to stress, better social skills, and generally better scores in range of other life measures. That is not a small thing. That is not an outlier or a few outliers. Almost the whole set of children that delayed instant gratification were much better off. Here's what Kahneman writes in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow. 10 or 15 years later, a large gap had opened between those who had resisted temptation and those who had not. The resistors had higher measures of executive control in cognitive tasks, and especially the ability to reallocate their attention effectively. As young adults, they were less likely to take drugs. A significant difference in intellectual aptitude emerged. The children who had not shown more self-control as 4-year-olds had substantially higher scores on tests of intelligence. So, what does that mean for us? The research very strongly indicates that there is correlation between delaying instant gratification and future success. In other words, doing insignificant things such as, let's scroll through social media. Hey, it's only one donut, it cannot hurt. No, it does hurt. These habits seem to be reinforcing or reconditioning us to opt for instant gratification in the future. For me, this realization came through the seemingly insignificant quote, or at least it doesn't seem like there's a lot to it on the surface. And the quote is, "How you do anything is how you do everything." You are the net total of your habits and your decisions. If these small decisions and habits are sabotaging your life, they will compound. So the children that delayed instant gratification made a decision that day. And from then on, all of their habits were built upon this decision of delaying instant gratifications to get rewards in the future. However, I've done the research, I've looked into it for you, and it turns out that delaying gratification is not a trait you're born with. Yay! You get a shot at life. It can be trained. They're basically a set of decisions you'll have to make and habits you'll have to implement that will eventually compound. Even if you are a instant gratification zombie right now, the next set of decisions you'll make throughout in your life will dictate the quality of your life, basically. So yeah, we can basically train our ability to delay gratification just like we would train a muscle group at the gym. So moving on to the final part of the video, how to beat hyperbolic discounting. And if you skip to this part, why? Why would you break my heart like that? Go back and watch the explanation because it's just as important as the steps. Dumbass. And if you watch this far into the video, so bonus tip to beat hyperbolic discounting or any cognitive bias for that matter is just the awareness of it. So just knowing about what cognitive biases we could possibly have in our life helps you basically mitigate some of it. So you're basically more sensitive to them when they show up in your life. But hyperbolic discounting is unfortunately the final boss of all cognitive biases. So you're going to need a little more than just awareness to beat it. Step number 1, build systems. So if you have a vague idea as to what your roadmap should look like for the next say few years a couple of months, whatever it is, build systems around it. Automize your habits. So a system to me is basically a set of habits that you go through without having to think about it, number one, and without having to put a lot of effort into it. As James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, says, goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. A handful of problems arise when you spend too much time thinking about your goals and not enough time designing your systems. So when you first start building habits or building systems, I would suggest that you start small. We have a tendency to overestimate our abilities, so baby steps. Start from there and then progress up. So read for 10 minutes, write 100 words, jog for 5 minutes, whatever it is, right? There's always a huge habit that can be broken down into tiny parts, and just focus on that and then scale up whenever you're ready. So to find out how I track and design my habits, there's a link in the description, the first link in the description. Click on it. It'll take you to a playbook of Project 52, my current habit building system. It is designed by a good friend of mine called Frank. Click the link in the description if you're interested. I will be making a video on Project 52 in particular in the coming weeks, so look forward to that. Step number 2, run uphill, lean into the pain, or clean your bathroom. I've got a confession to make. I hate cleaning my bathroom. My mom has almost always done it for me, and just the idea of going over there and just cleaning after myself in the forbidden room, it's not a good feeling. It's coming from a place of privilege, guys. And just biting on a pencil and just getting to it and just getting it over with has been one of the best things that I've done for myself. I mean, for a couple of reasons, right? Like, one, my bathroom's clean. Number 2, it teaches me a sense of some fucking responsibility. And number 3, these small things such as cleaning the bathroom, I've always put it off. I've always had my mom to just come and clean it for me, which is exactly the reason, or at least the small habits that compound into you being like an instant gratification zombie. So if you have 2 choices and a decision to make, opt for the one that causes more short-term pain. So cleaning the bathroom is uncomfortable for me, but in the long run, 1, I build good habits around cleanliness, things of that sort, and 2, I do not give in to like just being an apathetic piece of shit. Basically what I'm trying to say is, do the things that you hate, the things that bring discomfort. So Naval Ravikant says it better than I ever could. Here's what he says. Simple heuristic. So if you're evenly split on a difficult decision, take the path more painful in the short term. What's actually going on is one of these paths requires short-term pain, and the other path leads to pain further out in the future. And what your brain is doing through conflict avoidance is trying to push off the short-term pain. By definition, if the 2 are even and one has short-term pain, that path has long-term gain associated. With the law of compound interest, long-term gain is what you want to go towards. So, acknowledging hyperbolic discounting and evaluating trade-offs between your present and your future can help you achieve almost anything that you possibly want from life. So trust me, when you put these actions into use, your future self will be thankful. Thank you for watching this video. This is hyperbolic discounting is one of those things that has really impacted my life and changed my life for the better. I'm saying that as if I've got everything in life figured out, but at least, hey, it's a start, right? So if you enjoy the video, click the like button, subscribe, share the video if you know someone that would benefit from this. So yeah, I'll see you soon.